Ah, Christmas time. It's that wonderful time of the year where carols are sung, families gather together, and good cheer is spread liberally. It's also that time of the year that theology wonks like me obsess over the origins of Christmas or the true timing of Yeshua's birth. Hi, I'm Ron Cantor of Tiferet Yeshua Congregation, right here in Tel Aviv, where Yeshua is restoring the saved remnant of Israel. Hang around to the end so I can send you my free ebook. And one more thing before we get into today's content. As a Messianic Jew, I really can't win when it comes to Christmas. If I want to kindly wish somebody Merry Christmas, I get criticized for endorsing that pagan holiday. If I say Happy Holidays, I get hammered by the other side saying, "Oh, so you're ashamed of Christmas?" I can't win. And with that in mind, I wrote a blog series called 7 Thoughts About Christmas from a Messianic Jew. I think it's balanced and edifying, and you can read all the blogs at roncan.net/Christmas-blog, and all the letters need to be small. Okay, when was Yeshua born? To be honest, there is no way to know for sure, but we do have a few hints. In order to know when the Messiah might have been born, we need to take a look at cousin John, whom we know was born 6 months before Yeshua. In the 6th month of Elizabeth's pregnancy, God sent the angel Gabriel to a virgin pledged to be married to a man named Joseph, a descendant of David. The angel said to her, "Do not be afraid, Miriam." We like to use their real names as much as possible. "You have found favor with God. You will conceive and give birth to a son, and you are to call him Yeshua." If we can determine when John was born, then we can know for sure when Yeshua was born within a few days, plus or minus. Let's continue by looking at Johnny's papa, Zechariah. We'll call him Zach. He was a priest, which means he worked in the temple. Go to Luke chapter 1, read verses 5 through 17. Here's a summary. First, Zach was a priest. Number 2, there were 24 divisions of priests, and they each served for a week, twice a year. 3, he was in the Aviyah division. Josephus, the 1st century Jewish Roman historian, confirms that these divisions were still being used in the 1st century. Number 4. However, during the major feasts, Passover, Shavuot, and Tabernacles, it is believed that all the priests served due to the high demand. Now, that makes sense because generally a Hebrew year is 51 weeks. That's 24 times 2, 48, and then you add the 3 feast weeks, you get 51. Number 5. So that means that there are 5 different times during the year that Zach could have been ministering in the temple. We know when the dates of the feast are, but when were those 2 other weeks that Zach would have been ministering? I'm going to tell you in just a minute, but first I want to make sure that you're still with me. You may need to go back and watch that again in slow speed. Now, Zach's group, Aviyah, served in the 8th week of each 24-week cycle. That means that there are 5 different times that Zach could have seen the angel. Number 1, during Passover. Number 2, during Shavuot. Number 3, his first week, which is the week after Shavuot. Number 4, then again in the Feast of Tabernacles in the fall. And number 5, during the Aviyah division's 2nd week of service, which would be in the late fall. Not only are there 5 different possibilities, but we have to assume that Zach and Lizzie got frisky pretty quick and she conceived within a week or 2 from the end of his temple service. But we can't know for sure. We only know that the angel tells Zechariah in Luke 1:20 that his words will come to pass at the, quote, appointed time. But let's assume that Elizabeth conceived within 2 weeks of Zechariah's return. Because Miriam conceives in the 6th month of Elizabeth's pregnancy, we can just add 6 plus 9 and get a general idea of when Yeshua was born, 15 months after John was conceived. Of these 5 possibilities, he could have been born on 4 different times: July, September, March, or wait for it, December. Yes, it's possible that December 25th or sometime near it was Yeshua's birthday, if Elizabeth conceived shortly after Zach's service during the Feast of Tabernacles. But my investigation led me to a different conclusion. I believe Yeshua was born in the spring, just before Passover, and I'm going to tell you why. If Elizabeth conceived a few weeks after Zach's service during the 2nd cycle of the Aviyah division in the 35th week in late fall, John is born in August or September, and Yeshua in March, April. And a winter birth is quite unlikely for a few reasons. Number one, shepherds are out in the fields at night. Jerusalem can be downright freezing during a winter night and possibly raining. It would not have been a safe place for sheep. Number two, Dr. Tzioni Zevit says that the lambing season, when lambs were born, was in the spring at the beginning of the year, a more logical time for the shepherds to be out with their sheep. Number three, and this is where all these numbers and dates come together to actually mean something significant. You see, it's been argued that the lambs who would be sacrificed for Passover at the temple were raised in Bethlehem, and that these shepherds were actually fulfilling a priestly duty by raising these lambs. Yeshua is our Passover lamb, and how cool would it be if he, along with all the other Passover lambs, was born at the same time and even in the same city, Bethlehem. Number four, Augustus Caesar would not have called for a census as he did in the heart of the winter, when traveling would prove difficult in the cold, rainy weather. While it can rain in the spring, winter rains are much more likely and much colder. My conclusion, Yeshua was born in the week or two before Passover, during the lambing season. The Messiah, the Lamb of God as John calls him, was born with the other Passover lambs and died with them as well. However, unlike those other Passover lambs, he could not remain in the grave. His blood was of an incorruptible nature, and death could not keep him down. He rose to newness of life, as the Hebrew prophet Isaiah declared, and purchased our salvation with his blood. While theology geeks like me enjoy this type of research, the timing of his birth is not near as significant than the fact that he was born. Because of him, we have found forgiveness and newness of life. I hope this video has been a blessing to you. To get my free ebook, The 15 Most Important Facts About the Israeli-Palestinian Conflict, just go to roncan.net/15facts and make sure that the F is capitalized. This video has been brought to you by our congregation, Tiferet Yeshua. For more information, please go to reachtelaviv.org. And while you're there, consider making a donation so that we can continue to share the good news of Yeshua here in Israel and bring you more of these weekly videos. Now, don't forget to subscribe. Shalom from Tel Aviv.